Streaming, apparently. Yes, I'm streaming, and what I'd like to do is have some fun. I want to look at the different types of circuits because there's just so many type ways to fly a circuit, and it's kind of exhausting sometimes because you'll fly with different people and they'll tell you different ways of flying a circuit. And so I thought, hey, I will try and do all the kinds of circuits that I can think of. So I can think of just off the top of my head three. The what I call the UK circuit, what I call the US circuit, and what I call the slow US circuit. So those are the three I want to try. So I guess if I bring like Excalibur up, I could maybe describe it. Now I don't know if you can see this. I think you can. Yes, you can. And so you got the three circuits. So if I draw a runway, and then what I can draw is the circuits. So I'll make this nice and thick. Okay. So here, 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 and here. Now, the first type of circuit is the UK one. So that's what I'm going to start with, and that one is it's as far as I know, it's the biggest one, like the widest circuit. And what you're doing is if I draw a lovely little airplane like that with some sort of weird hooked tail, is you fly it normal power settings. You really sort of fly it to the edge of what you can glide to the runway. And then once you turn here, oh great, we have people who should not be in the chat. X69XXS site. All right. Bye bye. And can I? Yep. I think. Yeah. Anyways, people in the chat that shouldn't be in the chat. And then once you turn on the base leg, here you're going to set two sets of flaps, and then 70 knots. So 70 knots in the 172 and flaps 20. Right. So that's the first one. So you come in 70 knots, two sets of flaps, you turn, and then you go on final. And on final, you'll put full flaps and and full flaps and then 65 knots, and then you land. And so I'd say probably put around 1700 RPM, 1600 RPM here to slow down, because you gotta slow down pretty quickish. And so that's the UK circuit. What I call the US circuit, and I don't know if that's a US thing or not, is that when you're beam the threshold, so when you're around here, you're going to reduce power to about 1700 RPM, 1600 RPM, and then you're going to set one set of flaps and 75 knots. So 75 knots and flaps 10, right? And then and so as you slow down, so you pass 85 knots, you set flaps 10, and then you start descending at 75 knots. And then by the time you establish yourself in the descent, you're about at the right place. So you turn, and then when you're here, you set immediately 70 knots and flaps 20. And then you continue, and then you do the same thing as the UK, what I call the UK circuits, which is here you put 65 knots and flaps 30, right? So that's what I call the US circuit, and it's kind of my favorite. I like this one right about here. Now, the final one, which I call the US lazy circuits, is where you have flaps on the downwind. So it's a slow one, right? So you turn downwind, and then as part of the Gumps check, or right before the Gumps check, you're gonna set, I think it's flaps 20. I'm not really sure. So I want to try flaps 20. So flaps 20, and then I'm gonna set 70 knots. Yeah, exactly. 70 knots. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And then you turn base, and then you turn final, and once again on final you're going to set flaps 30 and 65 knots. So this one doesn't change. The final seems to be the same, but what changes is where you set flaps and speeds. And so I'm just going to mess around with it, do these three, and see how that goes. So let's see. I'm keen. I'm keen to have a good time. So I'm going to go ahead, probably skip most of these things. I would like the proper way of doing things. I say most, right? I'm not going to do a run up. It's a flight sim, right? The engine doesn't fail unless you make it fail. It is a little dark though, isn't it? Maybe a smidge of light. Oh, that's not going to work while we have the battery off. Then I'm just going to do master on. I'm going to wait for the AHRS to align. But while I wait the AHRS to align, full mixture, full power, flaps 1, 2, 3. Good. Idle here, 1/4 in. My dog's barking non-stop. That's great. Come on, AHRS. Do your thing. There you go. It's done its thing. Keys on both. We're going to run this guy over anyways. Clear prop. And we're going to start the engine. So, about 8,000 RPM. Cool. Checking all this. We know it's not going to break. So, MFD on. That's off. Oh, great. I think it was runway 20, so I'm going to set runway 20, then we'll see what it actually is. Yeah, cool. So with that set, we got those lights in. Let's turn these on a little. Taxi lights on. We'll put the nav lights on to be pretty. And then we're going to disconnect the parking brake, and we're going to start taxiing. Let's go here. I like this view. My dog will not stop barking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to park right outside of the hangar and see what she's barking about. Maybe it's serious. Power idle. Come to a stop. Fly power. Set the parking brake. See you guys in a second. So as it turns out, the neighbors arrived in their house. How dare they? So we're gonna remove the parking brake and continue taxiing, huh? How about that? So I'm just gonna zoom right in. I don't think I should be going through here, but whatever. Get myself onto the taxiway. Pretty. This is Shoreham Airport. It is the add-on. That's why I'm here, because I paid for it, and god dang it, I'm gonna use it. Well, I am tempted to get sort of Orbix for England. Oh, look at that. Low power setting. Let's lean the mixture a little. So I am leaning the mixture. There you go. That's an aggressive lean. And we're on alpha. So didn't do taxi checks. I'm gonna assume it works. You know, flight sims and whatnot. Let's look at the outside. It's windy, apparently. I'm not using live weather because live weather right now is pretty poor, as is usual in the UK. We've got some low ceilings. And those are my favorite hangars, but you got the weird markers because I think some of the assets have been destroyed or something. I don't know. Yeah, we're technically we're about to enter a runway, but I'm not going to turn on my strobe lights for that. We're going to cross runway 24. Ah, come on, let's be good people. Right, strobe lights on, landing light on. Ooh, poor taxiing on my part, I'll tell you that much. Got a little bit of this crosswind from the right. Stay aware of that. I'll do a departure brief while we taxi. So we're departing runway 20, I think it is. We'll correct that as we get there. A right-hand crosswind. So we'll put elevators to the right as we depart. We'll do flaps 10 departure. So I'm going to put flaps 10 now since I'm not doing power settings, power checks. That is flaps 10. It's just that my controller is weird with that. Left-hand circuits, threats. I am pattering this live stream, which is embarrassing. I'm just going to try and fly as best as I can. That's how I'm going to mitigate that risk. We're not really many risks. We're on the computer. The winds, you know, might be a very slight crosswind. That usually I tend to find slight crosswinds harder to manage than like a full-on proper crosswind, just because they're harder. It's a bit of a subtle correction, and just mitigate that by staying aware of the center line. If it is coming from the right with a headwind, that means that we can delay a little bit the turn onto final. Yeah, that's it basically. Cool. So, mixture full. I've left the landing lights and strobe lights on the whole way because I'm an idiot. Let's make sure we've got elevator trim. Approach is going to be clear because I'm not online. And I am going to... Oh, I'm going to come to a stop. I'm going to set 1,100 feet as the circuit altitude. Cool. Alright, and I'll leave the yoke in so that you can see my inputs. So we're going to start with what I call the UK circuits. Yeah. So the UK circuit is... we don't touch power settings. We do a normal cruise power setting on the downwind, and we only set up when we're on the base leg. I'm going to do 2 sets of flaps, 70 knots. And I'm going to set 1600 RPM, I think. Alright. So I'm going to line up with the runway. I'm going to check the windsock one more time, if I can find it. I cannot see the windsock, but I remember it was from the right. So, full right yoke. Power sets. Engine instruments checked. Heels to ground. So I'm reducing the airspeeds alive. The ailerons input as I'm accelerating. And rotate. Woo! Too much aileron there. And as a result, too much left rudder. Bad takeoff. Very bad takeoff. Okay, we're clear of obstacles. Pitch down for 75 knots. Speed check. Flap 0. Trim away the effort. Little bit fast. Looking outside, using my Lindbergh reference. Wee. .700 feet, so I'm going to start the turn. So normally I do a lookout. So looking to the left to make sure there's no traffic. 20-degree bank. Really, there are clouds at this level. Pitch wings level. And I am going to change the weather because this is ridiculous. Scattered. Boom. There you go. Oh god. Stuttering. Okay, 105 knots, reduce power to about 2300. Trim away the effort, we're a little high. Such a beautiful area, honestly. And the 45 is gone, so let's go ahead and turn. I blame the stuttering for this, by the way, and having to change the weather. So I did my lookout to the left. I'm descending a little bit because I'm like 200 feet too high. And now I'm on the downwind. So I'm picking my target. I'm picking this clump of trees in the distance. And I'm going to descend a little bit more. So I'm going to reduce power just because I'm too high. And then I'm in the UK, so I'm going to do bump fitch. Brakes are fixed, undercarriage is fixed. Sorry, brakes are released, undercarriage is fixed. Mixture is full rich. Fuel balanced and on both. Instruments are automated, so not much to do. Press a B maybe. There you go. No carburetor heat, hatches and harnesses are secured. We're passing the threshold, so nothing, because we're doing UK circuits. So there you go. Increase power back to 2300 roughly. Passing the 45 just about now. So now remember, I'm going to turn, and as soon as I'm done turning, I'm going to reduce power to about 1600, 1700, and I'm going to set flaps 20. I'd say I'm turned maybe a little bit early by the looks of it. Yeah, I'd say I've turned a little bit early for a UK circuit. So power to about 1700. Yeah, definitely too early. Definitely turned too early. Okay, that's fine. Good start. Alright, speed check. Flaps 10. Speed check. Flaps 20. And we pitch for 70. Yeah, see, I'm way too close. So that we're gonna do another one, because this one was crap. It doesn't reflect the UK circuit properly. I'm gonna reduce power to idle because I'm really high and flaps full straight away, just to try and compensate. Yeah, see, this is a go around. I'm just gonna establish on final, then I'll do the go around. That was poor, very poor. You can see I've got power idle, I've got full flaps, I'm at 75 knots, and I've got 4 whites. It's no good, right? This is a go around. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to apply full powers, get the flaps up. So let's do it. So full power. Right rudder as we add power to maintain the center line. We'll pitch up. Positive climb. Flaps 20. I don't need to go to VX because I'm quite high enough as it is. Positive climb. Flaps 10. Positive climb. Flaps up. Trimming away the effort as I climb. Not climbing a VY anymore. I want to climb first to circuit altitude because, as you can see, because of the go around, we turn too early otherwise. Pitch down slowly. Everyone's head is hit against the ceiling right now. I'm going to accelerate to 105 knots and then reduce power to 2300. 105, reduce 2300 RPM. Pitch down, trim away the effort. Yeah, I've crossed the shore, so I think I can do the turn. So we look out, left turn. Maybe the circuit will be better. Maybe. We'll see. 30-degree bank angle. We're going to go into the crosswind. Wings level here. Release the back pressure. Maintain level flight, that's looking good. about the 45 degree. When the opposite runway is at the 45 degree, which is about here, we turn. We look outside and then we turn, right? Always check for traffic first. Pitch up a little. This one's a little less hectic, I have to say. Looking outside. I'm using my clump of trees. Looking quite well, actually, that clump of trees. That's where I'm going towards. Alright. Still climbing, which is very strange. Alright, so brakes are fixed, undercarriage is fixed, mixture is fixed. Sorry, brakes are released, undercarriage is fixed, mixture is full rich. Fuel, both selected and it's balanced. Instruments are automated, QNH is the same. No carb heats, hatches and harnesses secured. We've passed the threshold, we do nothing. So I'm going to make sure that the threshold's at the 45. And let's not turn too early this time like I did last time, huh? So, coming towards these hills. That's about the 45 here, so I'm going to get ready to turn. So, make sure I don't descend too early. There's a 45. Look outside. And we're going to turn. The UK circuits are huge compared to what I'm used to. Even though I did a lot of circuits in the UK. Funny how that works. Pitch up. And wings level. And that's looking about right towards those hills. Reduce power to 1600 RPM, 1700 RPM. Stop the aircraft from descending. We're a little low. So maybe we can use that to our advantage. Overshot it, so let's correct that. There you go, pointing towards the hills. Speed check, flaps 10. Speed check, flaps 20. Looking for that runway. There it is. It's on the strut, so we're going to turn. Reduce power to about 1300 because I am high. Look at that, I overshot it. That's alright. We are high still, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce to go flaps full. 65 knots. I'm wondering if I need to go further out still. So I'm on 4 whites, but I'm a bit more stable than last time. I'm going to go power idle for now. Looking for 65 knots. So then as soon as I get 1 white, I'm going to set up 1500 RPM. By the looks of it. There you go. So there's one red, 2 reds. Let's pitch up for 65. And let's set about 1500 RPM. Not a great circuit, honestly. I caught it up in the end, but really not that great. 65. So I'm going to pass, as soon as I start passing over the fence. Power to idle. As soon as we hit idle, hopefully we'll be close to 50 feet. Looking at the end of the runway, pitching wings level. Stop it from descending, stop it from descending, stop it from descending. Not great. Flaps 10. Full power. Correct for the center line. That's going to be very tight. And rotate. Okay, I am maintaining 65 this time because of the terrain, of the obstacles. That wasn't great, but let's move on to the American circuit, see how that goes. Okay, So we're clear of obstacles, pitch down, speed check, positive climb, flaps up. Let's pitch up for 75. And 700 feet, we do the lookout to the left. Pretend I've done it. 20-degree bank angle. Okay, wings level. We pitch down. Not great on the airspeed control right now, I have to admit. $105, I'm going to reduce power to 2300. Right, American circuits. This time we're going to set up when we're beam the threshold. So. Right, opposite, the threshold is at 45. So let's turn to the left. 30-degree bank. And point towards my clump of trees there. This time I'm going, I went a little bit further, so I'm pointing just to the right of the clump of trees. Accident, by the way, it wasn't on purpose. Alright, so American circuits, downwind, we do gumps. So, gas, sufficient and balanced, selected on both. Undercarriage is fixed. Mixture, full rich. Power set at 2300. And security, so harnesses are set and landing lights have remained on the whole time. That's gumps done. Just passing the threshold of the runway right now. So let's go ahead and start setting up. So I'm going to reduce power to about 1700 RPM. I'm going to maintain level flight. Stop the aircraft from descending. Stop it from descending, stop it from descending, trimming up, speed check, flaps 10. I'm going to go for 75 knots, and I'm going to start descending at 75 knots at about 1700 RPM. There's roughly 75 knots, should be at about the 45 degrees now, which I am, so let's turn. .30-degree bank angle. Come on. There it is. And this is probably why you wouldn't want to do these around here. I'm feeling a little low. I'm feeling very low. Let's see where the runway is. Can't even see it. So now, speed check. Flaps 20. And I'm going to aim now for 70 knots. I'm going to add some power because I feel a little low. I'm going to go for 1800 RPM. See if I can find the runway. There's a runway. So two whites, two reds. I really shouldn't be seeing that at this point. So I've added power. I've stopped my descent. This is interesting. I wonder if it's a non-standard descent. Now I'm seeing 3 whites, 1 red. That's good. I can start descending again and get it back to about 1800. We're at 70 knots. So far, so good. And look at that, I've turned too much. Bad me. Losing situational awareness. This is not going particularly well. So there's a runway, just touching the strut. So let's turn. Bring it back to about 1600. Now I'm going to go to 1500 RPM actually, because I'm on final. Speed check. Whoa, pitch up, flaps full. And I am high, so I'm going to reduce power to idle for a bit. Really, these circuits are not going well. And we're looking for 65 knots. So I'm pitching for 65. Look at that. Too high. This is going to be a go around again.
500.
Probably because I cut short like I did last time on the first one for the UK circuits. I'm going to keep going like this. I'm going to go a bit lower. I'm going to go all the way down to the runway, I think, but I'm going to go around because this is a throwaway. So pitch down for 65. Okay, three reds. 4 reds. Let's go around. So level pitch. Speed check. Flaps 20. Let's pitch for 75. We don't need VX here because we already cleared the obstacles. Positive climb. Flaps 10. Positive climb. Flap 0. So my circuits today are really not that great. Maybe it's just Shoreham that's difficult, but I'm going to blame Shoreham even though it's definitely a me problem. Alright, so we're approaching 700 feet. Look to the left, clear traffic, and we're going to turn. See if we can be a bit better on the airspeed control this time, huh? Okay, wings level. Reaching target altitude, so pitching down. It's apt, right? So attitude, power, trim. $105, reduce power to 2300. Not quite there yet. Increase power a smidge, trim away the efforts. And there. So let's go ahead and turn. We did our lookout to the left, make sure there's no traffic. Wings level here. Looking for my clump of trees. There it is. Right. So gumps, because we're doing a US one. So gas, both balanced. Undercarriage is fixed. Mixture's full rich. Power set at 2300. Security. Landing lights and seatbelts on. Alright. And we're just reaching threshold now. So let's go ahead and reduce power to about 1800. We'll do 1700 again. Some will correct for it though. So I'm 100 feet high. So that's not great. Reduce power some more. Just to slow down. Speed check, flaps 10. Get power back to around 1700. Looking for 75 knots. Okay, 75 knots. Now that should get us at about the 45 degrees. It's really hard to see, but it's over there. So it's about 45 degrees here. So pitch up. We're looking for 75. Trim away the efforts. Let the nose drop a little bit when we turn. Make sure we actually turn onto the crosswind. Last time I was cutting the corner, which is why we ended up high. And wings level here. I'd say maybe it should be a little bit further, but that's looking not too bad. But immediately, look at that. I'm 5 knots too fast. I'm going to pitch up, speed check, flaps 20. We're now aiming for 70 knots. Get power back to around 1700. Let's have a look at the runway. There it is. 4 whites. This is looking a little better. And I'm going to reduce power to 1600 now. Okay, so far so good. This is looking better, but it still feels a little high. I'm going to reduce power to 1500. Okay, runway is passing over under the strut now. I'm going to go ahead and do a 30-degree bank turn. Pitch up. We don't want to increase the airspeed. Yeah, see that? Oh, let's shallow out that turn because we are still reduce power, speed check, flaps full. I want to maintain 1300 RPM for this one because 1500 has been way too much up until now, yeah? So we're just going to use 1300 and we'll adjust accordingly. Look at that. I'm going to go with idle because I'm accelerating. And then I'm going to go back to 1300 in a minute. This should again be a go around, but I think we can recover this one. Alright, 1300 RPM. Let's go. Pitch for 65. Come on, come on, come on. Ah, 1400, we're low. Not reactive enough on the power. 500 feet per minute, we're at the limit, so I'm going to set 1500 again. We're just at the limit. Oh, that's a go around. I should be going around. I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to do it this time. Okay, power coming to idle. Power is hitting idle at about 50 feet above the runway. Perfect. We're going to pitch for level flight. And I'm going to stop it from descending. Stop it from descending. Stop it from descending. Stop it from descending. We touch down. Flaps 10. Oh. Control. Ailerons into wind. Power up. And rotate. Maintain 62 knots for now, because we want VX. Okay, we're clear of obstacles, so let's pitch for 75. Alright, that one was alright. So let's do the last one, which is what I call the slow American ones, which I've never done before, which is setting the flaps downwind. Speed check, flaps 10. Let's pitch up for 75. Get us up as quickly as we can. There you go. 700 feet, so we do the lookout. And we turn. 20-degree bank. Alright, target heading roughly. Target altitude, so let's pitch down. Let the aircraft accelerate. This time I'm going to go over 2100 RPM. So about 100 knots I'll reduce power. Reduce power. 2100 RPM. Just going to do a little bit lower power setting this time. And then there it is at the 45. So we do our safety check. We look outside for the traffic. Our lookout. And 30 degrees bank. Stop the aircraft from descending. 30-degree bank. Going for my clump of trees. It's working beautifully. Alright, American circuits. So, we're going to reduce power to about 1900 or 1700 just to slow down. Speed check, flaps 10. Now I'm going to increase power to maintain level attitude at about 75 knots. We said we're going to do 2 sets. Speed check, flaps 20. 70 knots. And let's maintain 70 knots and level flight. Alright. So that requires about 1900 RPM. Alright, so gumps. Gas, both and balanced, sufficient. Undercarriage is fixed, mixture is full rich. Power set at 1900 RPM. That's too fast. Let's go 1800 RPM. Security. So that's landing lights and seat belts on. Okay, it's looking good. At the 45, I'm going to turn. So we're aiming for 70 knots at level flight. But you can see that 1700 doesn't really quite cut it. So I'm going to try roughly 1600. Reduce power a little bit more. And there's the 45. So we're going to start turning and we're going to start descending. Send at 70 knots, yeah? Okay, wings level. This feels a lot closer. So I'm going to reduce power to 1500. And I'm going to look outside. I've never done these before, this type of circuit. But I can see 4 whites. I am a lot closer. I'm almost tempted to sidestep a little to the right. But I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it, see how it pans out. 1500, I feel like maybe I might end up getting too low, but so far it looks good. So 1500, 70 knots. I'm still too high though. Still too high. I think I should have tried and done it like going further out. Because I'm slower, my turn radius is smaller. And I think this is a result of that. Okay, I'm going to reduce power to 1400. Maintain 70 knots. 500. Going under the struts. So we're going to go with 20-degree bank angle. Pitch down. I'm going to add power again. 1500. Right, I'm overshooting, so I'm going to go to 30, but no more. Wings level here. Flaps full. And look at my speed, 80 knots. I've really accelerated. Power to idle just for a few seconds while we decelerate. And power back up. We're looking for 65 knots. I'm going to go for 1300 RPM, 1400 RPM, 1500 RPM. Okay. So I am low. Tempted to do this one again. I'm just going to call it, I think. It's going to be a full stop. As long as I don't go too slow. Okay, start reducing power to idle in a bit. About here. Power to idle, nice and slowly. Power's at idle, 50 feet above the runway. Pitch level, about 10 feet before. And start pitching up. Right rudder, left aileron. Oh, that's right on the edge. That's right on the edge. That's right on the edge. Not a great crosswind landing, honestly. I told you the slight crosswinds are the one that really get you. So, how did I perform? Poorly. I think I did a bad job of all the circuits. It's harder on this runway, I have to say. I've been practicing on big runways. They're a lot more forgiving. So this is good. Shows me I need to practice some more. Right, we're clear of the runway. Strobe lights off, landing lights off. I'm going to go flaps full up. And that'll do. And there you have it. Different kinds of circuits. We did the 3 kinds. Yeah, mediocre. Mediocre. Shows I gotta practice some more. That's just life, isn't it? It's a bit harder in Flight Sim, but that's no excuse. I think the hardest thing in Flight Sim actually is trimming. I find trimming pretty difficult. I don't know about you guys. That's what I find. I'm gonna park somewhere different. I was in the hangar, but I'm gonna park in like this little between these hangars. Let's do it. Power idle. I'm gonna lean the mixture here a bit. Right, I'm gonna full mixture, increase power, and then find the right mixture. About there. I'll stop it here. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Alright, come to a stop here. 800. Park brake is set. And leave mixture full rich at 900 RPM. And we do our mag checks and it happens to work. Just like that. That's just how you should do it in real life, huh? Yeah, ignore me. Alright, power idle. Mixture cutoff. Idle cutoff. Cool. Beacon light off. These two off, and then that turns off the standby battery as well. The end. Well, I'd love to chat, but my concurrent viewers right now is a whopping 0. So no concurrent viewers. Well, that's it. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.